We've all had that moment of panic upon realizing we left something important at home, but most of us have at least been on planet Earth when it happened. The first woman in space wasn't so lucky. Valentina Tereshkova went without a toothbrush during her 3 days aboard the Vostok 6 spacecraft in 1963. To be fair, it wasn't her fault. Mission Control was actually in charge of packing the essentials, as the pioneering cosmonaut had other, presumably more scientific, things to focus on. In any case, she didn't seem too bothered by the oversight. "I was resourceful, as any woman would be," she said in 2015. "I had my hands and water." Any kid who's slept over at a friend's house without planning for it in advance can relate. More than 6 decades later, Tereshkova remains the only woman to have piloted a solo mission to space. 5 other women were trained for the mission, but the then 26-year-old was ultimately chosen. "A bird cannot fly with one wing only," she has said of her historic role. Human spaceflight cannot develop any further without the active participation of women. Sally Ride became the first American woman in space, and the third overall after Svetlana Savitskaya, 20 years later in 1983. Not having heard anything to the contrary in the decade since, we can safely presume that she had her toothbrush with her. Astronaut Alan Shepard may not have been the first person on the moon, but he was the first to take one small shot for golf and one giant swing for golf kind. Part of the Apollo 14 mission, which made its lunar landing on February 5, 1971, Shepard was also a golfer who brought his hobby all the way to our humble planet's only natural satellite, along with a makeshift club fashioned partly from a sample collection device. He took 2 shots, claiming that the second went miles and miles. The United States Golf Association, USGA, later put the actual distance of his 2 strokes at about 24 yards and 40 yards, respectively, not enough to land him a spot on the PGA Tour, perhaps, but fairly impressive when you remember that the stiff spacesuit Shepard was wearing, in low gravity, no less, forced him to swing with one arm. Feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for following. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with hot news every day.